In this lesson, we are going to talk about heat and how it is transferred from one object to another. So, what is heat? Heat is a form of energy which is transferred from one body to another as a result of temperature difference. Means if there are two objects, two bodies which differ in their temperature, then heat in the form of energy will be transferred from one body to another. Heat always flows from a warmer object to a cooler object. That is, the object having higher temperature will be warmer and the object having a lower temperature will be cooler with respect to the other object, and hence the flow of heat will always take place from the warmer object to the cooler object. This flow of heat is known as transfer of heat. As you can see in the figure below, the object placed at first is a warmer object. The temperature there is greater as recorded by the thermometer placed above that object, and the other object beside it is a cooler object as is indicated by the thermometer, which is showing a lower temperature reading. So here the heat is getting transferred from the warmer object to the cooler object. When the two objects attain the same temperature, then the flow of heat will stop. That is, initially the heat was being transferred from the warmer to the cooler objects, but as soon as the cooler object also acquires the same temperature as the warmer object, then the flow of heat will automatically stop. This means that no heat will be transferred from one object to another if the temperature of the two objects becomes same. Now, how is heat transferred between two objects which differ with respect to temperature? So, there are three methods by which heat can be transferred from a hot object to a cold object. The first method is known as conduction, the second method is convection, and the third method of transfer of heat is known as radiation. Now, here there is a figure that is representing all the three modes of transfer of heat. Now, there is a hand which is holding a metallic rod, and that rod is being heated by keeping the rod in the flame. Now, the hand is wearing a glove. Why the hand is wearing a glove? Because this metallic object, it will absorb the energy of the heat coming out from the flame and will become hot, and that heat will be transferred from the end which is closer to the flame to the other end where the hand is holding the rod. And this method of transfer of heat from the hot end to the cold end is by conduction. Then in the other part of the figure, you can see two hands are placed just above the flame, slightly above, and hot air is rising up, and as a result of it, these two hands will feel warmer when they are kept over the flame for a short duration of time. Now, why are they feeling warmer? Because the air which is present above the flame, it takes up heat of the flame, becomes lighter and starts rising up. This air is hotter, and when it reaches the hand will become hot, that is, it will feel warm. This method of heat transfer is by convection. Then the third part of the figure, you can see again there are two hands, but now this time they are kept at the side of the flame, not just above the flame. Now, they will also feel warmth of the flame, and the reason is that heat is getting transferred to these hands by another mode of heat transfer, which is known as radiation. Now, let us discuss each one of them separately. So, first we are going to talk about conduction. The process of transfer of heat from the hotter part of a material to its colder part, or from a hot material to a cold material which is in direct contact with it, is known as conduction. Here no movement of the material as a whole is taking place. Only thing is that the molecules which are becoming hot, they are transferring their heat to the adjacent molecules which are present nearby to it, and this method of transfer of heat is known as conduction. In solids generally the heat is transferred by the process of conduction. As you can see, there are two figures here. In the first figure, a hot cup of tea is there and a metallic spoon is kept in the tea. Now after some time, if you touch the metallic spoon, then you will feel that the spoon has become warm. It has become hot. Now why is it so? It is because the heat from the hot tea has been transferred to the metallic spoon, and this transfer of heat has taken place by which method? It has taken place by the method of conduction. Likewise, in the other figure you can see there is a pan which is being heated up either by keeping it above a stove or a burner, a gas burner, and heat from the burner is reaching the pan. But after some time, if you touch the handle, even the handle will feel slightly warmer. Now why the handle feels warm? It is because the heat which is initially received by the base of the pan and thus making the pan hot, that heat is now transferred gradually to the handle of the pan as well, and this mode of transfer of heat from the pan to the handle is again by conduction. Now all solids will not transfer heat by conduction to the same extent. There are some solids which will transfer heat to a larger extent, and there are certain other solids which will not at all transfer heat from one end of the solid object to its other end. Hence we have two types of solid objects, ones which are known as conductors and others which are known as insulators. So what are conductors? The objects that can allow heat to flow through them are called conductors. For example, metals such as copper, aluminium, iron, steel which is an alloy is also a conductor. So in the previous slide we saw that the metallic spoon kept in hot tea was becoming warm. So why was it so? It is because the metallic spoon is made up of a metal which is a conductor of heat. Now what are insulators? The objects that do not allow heat to flow through them are called as insulators. For example, wood, plastic, foam, etc. There are many objects which are solid and which do not allow heat to flow through them, and we call them as insulators. So for example, here a wooden block is placed. If you heat the wooden block at one end and you are holding the other end of the wooden block by your bare hands, then you will not feel the hotness of the flame on the other end. That is because heat from the hot end is not transferred to the cooler end, and it is because wood is a bad conductor or insulator of heat. Likewise, in many of our kitchen utensils, you might have seen that the handle is made up of an insulating material, a plastic. And why the handle is made up of plastic? Because plastic is a insulator. It will not allow the heat to be conducted from the pan to your hands when you touch the handle in order to take the container or the vessel down from the flame.